What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chris Gunther Show. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure that you like and share this video. We're greatly appreciated. On today, I'm sitting down with one of my favorite people, one of my favorite coaches I ever played for. The Chris Gunther Show welcomes Coach Carey Palermo. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, Chris?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for agreeing to sit down. I know the practice is about to start. Season is almost around the corner, man. How's the team looking so far?
Looking pretty good. We're a little banged up. We have two seniors that we're depending greatly on. They're a little banged up, just nothing serious, but kind of those early season stuff where everyone's really competing, really going hard. We're going 2.5 hours every day and just kind of getting our basketball legs back and whatnot. But we're looking pretty good.
When it comes down to preseason, and we experienced it a lot as players, you go through your ups and your downs because it's so early in the season. What are some of the things that you guys are really priding yourselves on this year compared to last year?
So there's not a lot, like from a personnel standpoint. We graduated 4 seniors, 2 starters. We always pride ourselves on defense, being the hardest working team, being the toughest team. I don't think that's going to change with this team. Now, we graduated 2 guys in Michael Pelini and Thomas Fire, who one averaged about 22 points a game, one averaged almost 14 points a game. So you have to replace your scoring, but you can't do it the same way that they did it. So you got to find it in other areas, and I think other players on our team have really had great off seasons, getting better skill-wise, fundamental-wise. So that'd be the one thing that might be different. Like there'd be games where if we were struggling to score, we could just get it to Michael, and he can create, he can get us into something good, he can get us a shot. We have a player like that, Mick Hergenrother, our senior point guard, will be a 3-year starter for us. But as far as our other players, we're going to need some other guys to step up to look for some consistent scoring. How
did last year turn out for you, especially with the unfortunate pandemic?
So it actually turned out like, the pandemic was unfortunate because people couldn't come in the gym, but we ended up going 17-5. I think we didn't lose a game at home, and we won the district championship. We were able to do that on our home floor because of the pandemic. So there was a lot of, as unfortunate was people couldn't get in the stands, we got to play every tournament game at home because of the pandemic. So there was nothing better than seeing our kids cut the nets down on their own home floor and being able to hang a banner in their own gymnasium. That was pretty cool.
I think one of the greatest things about this area is Cardinal Mooney, simply because everybody, talks about it. The sports program has always been pretty top notch. How have you, as a coach with all the experience, how are you able to continue to elevate the standards here?
So obviously, you walk into the gym and you see all the state championship banners, the state semifinals, regional banners. How I continue to move forward is just by setting a high standard. That's really all it is, every single day, and being consistent with that. And I feel if we hold our players and we hold our team to a high standard, that it trickles down to all the grades. I can't tell you how proud I am as a coach when I look at my seniors and they're coaching the JV kids. They're coming out of practice, they're watching the freshmen warm up, and they're explaining to them, hey, like you need to go a little bit harder. You can run a little bit faster. You need to be paying attention when coach talks, and just setting that standard and seeing it trickle down to the other players. That's really special.
Every time I come in here, I just remember how it was playing for Ursuline, and you were our JV coach because I only played about 1.5 years at JV, and you were the guy that was constantly saying you got to make sure that you bring it every night. Where did that, for you? Where did all that start from?
So, I was fortunate. Like I had a brother that played, was a great player. I had uncles that played. I have 2 parents who are like very competitive. That competitive nature started with them, and then I honestly think it was really honed. Whether it was I had great grade school coaches, I had great high school coaches, but none better than Coach Gunther. Playing for him, he never let you relax
at all.
He doesn't let you make excuses. He didn't allow you to not play your best, to not give your best, no matter what your skill level was. No matter how tough the practices were, how long the practices were, how much we had to run.
Oh, yes.
Whenever you walked out of there, no matter how bad you felt, he always had a way of kind of making you feel like, I can't wait to get back to the gym and compete some more. And that's kind of where he kind of, if the flame was there, he kind of knew how to control it.
All the way.
You know what I mean? It started at home, and then he kind of knew how to control that.
I remember seeing you play a lot when I was a kid, because people forget I was the ball boy for Ursuline for so long, so I was your ball boy. And I remember
getting old.
I remember you hitting threes and throwing kisses to the fans and
Yeah.
everything, and that was one of the coolest things. And I remember my freshman year, you had came in, and you were our freshman / JV coach, and you taught me about the word cerebral. I'll never forget it.
Yeah. Well, I think one of those days, Chris, I was just really frustrated. I came from playing 4 years of Division III college basketball, and then literally I graduated in Christmas time, and then that Monday I started practice.
Yep.
So it's like I'm expecting things to run like a college basketball practice was supposed to run, and that wasn't the case with 14, 15, 16, 14 and 15-year-olds. And so, Chris, you were our point guard, you were our leader, and you were very skilled. You worked extremely hard, but you were still learning the mental side of the game, as all young players are. And I think I was just like, you need to be more cerebral. And the whole gym is looking at me like, what the hell is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? Like, all right, that's your homework, Chris. You're the point guard. You're the leader. You need to learn what that word means.
And I finally figured it out.
Right, and then you need to pass it on to the other guys. And man, that was, of all the years, and I've been around some great teams, whether it's been an assistant, JV coach, or just here at Cardinal Mooney, we won a district. That first year coaching with you guys, that is some of the most fun I ever had coaching with your group, because you played so hard, and I learned so much as a coach just from you guys. It was a lot of fun.
I remember, my best friend on the team, Kevin, who you guys know I'm still
KJ.
very close with till this day. Out of the guys on the team, you wrote us to the hardest, without question.
I think it's because I felt like you guys cared the most.
Yeah.
You guys really cared about our team. You really cared about being around one another. You really cared about Ursuline basketball. I just felt it was important, if you guys cared that much, that if I can ride you guys the most and the other guys can see that I'm riding you guys the most, that maybe they would buy into that and they would buy into my coaching a little bit more. And I knew what you guys are going to get next year with Coach Gunther. I mean, I'm sure, I know it might have been hard, but it couldn't have been anything compared to him.
Oh, nah, we enjoyed it.
Right, and I mean that in a positive way. When I was a freshman coach and I'm by myself, I kind of had to be the bad cop, if you want to put a term to it. But when you're up with a JV and you're an assistant coach, and Coach Gunther, he's the hammer, and us assistants, we kind of had to be the guy that would build you guys back up. He'd be yelling at you guys, he'd be hollering at you guys for your effort, and we'd be the ones that were kind of like the interpreters. I know he yelled at you, but this is what he means. So.
And yeah, I got yelled at a whole lot. But
right. I think, yeah.
I think also.
You and Strollo got it a lot.
Oh gosh, me, Strollo, and Dez were.
Oh yeah.
I mean, of course, I love Preston dearly, but he was catching it too.
Oh yeah, all the time.
But I think looking back over all of those memories, when we finally won district our sophomore year, and then we did fall short our senior year. We started out sophomore year on a really good pace, and then me and Coach Gunn were just talking about it. We lost to Mooney, and there was a laminated picture going into the locker room that said Mooney humbles Ursuline. Right. And then we go on and win, etc. And I'm pretty sure you let these guys know here the intensity of rivalry, week.
Absolutely. Going back to what you were saying, I think Mooney had beaten us 5 or 6 straight times with that loss, and we were the favorite. I mean, you could just look in the layup line. We were bigger, stronger, faster, and we were a better team that year. But when it came down to winning time, they were a little bit tougher. And we tried to explain to you guys just how much that game means, not to our team, but to our community, the alumni, everybody that put a jersey on before you. And, when I took over at Mooney, we were kind of in the middle, similar losing streak against Ursuline. And, me and, Coach Ralph Naples, who was a year older than you, we had to explain to these guys, they might be a little bit more athletic. They might be a better basketball team. Their record might be better at the time, but that doesn't matter
at all.
You have an obligation to guys that put the jersey on before you, and that's what we try to instill in these guys every day at Cardinal Mooney. And the last 2-3 years, we're kind of see that building. We're kind of see that come to fruition these last couple of years. I think last year we swept Ursuline, or 2 years ago we swept Ursuline twice. This year we won the district. We were able to have some of our own success, and it's really cool to see.
I remember, I want to say it was that same year, at least in 2011, my sophomore year, the coaches had been debating if I was going to move up to varsity or not, and you were still JV coach.
Right.
And ironically, it was right here in this gym, and me and my homeboy, we put on a little bit of a shootout. And I remember telling you, I was like, Coach, this kid can't guard me. Just give me a ball, let's get out the way. And you were like, all right, go ahead.
Do your thing.
And that was the coolest thing, because I'm like, I've never had a coach believe in me on that kind of level.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to what we said, not every player gets that kind of like green light. We have a guy in our program now that has that green light. We had, it's really 2 guys last year. In your situation, you put the work in, you put the time in. I saw it every day at practice. I saw it in that game. You were consistent with it. Guys might have a good game. That doesn't necessarily mean they have the green light. You were one of those players, and when you were feeling it, if you felt you could take your guy, well, it doesn't really matter what play we run. If you could go make something happen and puts the ball in the hoop, go do it.
Absolutely. Every coach has those games highlighted on their schedule. You say, I can't wait to play this team.
Right.
I really want to see how we match up against them. If you had to, let us know who are some of the highlights this year on your schedule, who would you say those teams would be?
So, Chris, you know me. I want to win every game.
Every game.
Every game. It doesn't matter. I don't care if they're good, they're not good, if they're in the NBA. I want to win every game. I expect to win every game. I don't sleep if we don't. But the games that I can tell you that the kids highlight, obviously Ursuline. I could tell you our kids circled the Cheney games. There's no question about that. Boardman probably be another one up there.
I feel because the area is feeling much more confident about basketball now because,
right.
Powerhouses this past few years, Cheney's obviously up there. You guys have been up there, and it's great to see those rivalries come back. How fun is it just to coach basketball in this area?
It's awesome. Like you said, I think it's getting better. I thought when I was coming in, when I was in high school, probably and you in high school, the football was probably ahead of it. I don't think that's the case. If you look at our conference last year, we had 3 teams with a winning record. The football team has 1. The football, there's only 1 out of the 4 teams that have it. We've put a number of teams in the we won the district last year, Springfield, Cheney, Struthers, Warren, JFK. I know I'm leaving some D4 teams out there, but when we get into our districts, we perform, we win in this area. I for whatever reason, maybe people are sort of getting away from football or whatnot, but the basketball is, I would say probably soccer, baseball, and basketball are probably ahead of football right now as far as competitively around the state.
What is going to be a successful season this year for Cardinal Mooney?
I learned, honestly, my first couple years as a head coach, that you can't base success on your win and loss record because you're never going to be able to control. Well, at least here, there's some schools, maybe they could go out and get other players, other talent, whatever, God bless you. But you can't control really who comes in your building freshman year. So your talent level, your skill level, that's going to change. That's going to vary from year to year. I measure success based on how we improve as the year goes on. If we're a better team in February and March than we were in December, I think I'm doing a pretty good job. If we peak, if we have a decline before the end of the year, well, I don't consider that a successful season. My first year we were 8-15, not a very good record, but that team kept getting better. We dealt with a lot of adversity. By the end of the year, we were playing our best basketball. We had played Boardman early in the year. They beat us by 18 here on our home floor. They were 18-4 that year. We went and beat them at the buzzer. We beat Fitch at the buzzer that year. Ursuline had beat us by 30, in early February. We played them in the tournament. They knocked us out in the second round. That game was 39-37. They scored with 4 seconds to go to beat us. Is it the way we wanted to end? No, but I look at that team, they left it all out on the floor. We just talked off, camera about your senior year. You guys lost double overtime in the districts.
Yep.
Most people would say that wasn't a very successful year. You guys started 0-7. I thought that was a successful year. You guys came together. You could have easily packed it in, but you didn't, and you guys kept getting better, and you got beat to a team that made it to the state Final Four. So that's how I measure success.
That year, for me, was extremely difficult just because of how, we started out not good at all the adversity behind the scenes, but then to see us really start to click, start to gel, and I really feel like I started playing my best basketball towards the end of the year.
There's no question. I think we played St. Vincent St. Mary's. They might have beat us by 10 or 12. They had VJ King and Jalen Hudson. They had all these guys. And, fourth quarter, we're leading that game, and you were one of the better players on the floor. I think it's kind of funny, too, that senior class you guys have,
Yep.
You guys are all pretty successful kids.
I'm grateful, too.
What do you guys, how old are you guys now?
26 now.
26. You guys have all been out of trouble. You guys are all really successful. Some of you guys are starting families. You guys are good husbands and whatnot. It makes you so proud as a coach. And I think that season going through what you guys experienced, only helped you guys in the long run.
It did, and I do know we got to get ready to get out of here, but last couple questions. Before we jump out, when does the season start off for you guys?
So our first game's November 30th. We open up at Western Reserve. That week we'll play Friday. We'll play the Urban Scholars here, and that Saturday we play 4 o'clock at Struthers. That's our first game.
If anybody wanted to connect with you or learn more about the team, how can they do that?
So you can go into our Twitter. It is at Mooney Basketball or at CMHS Basketball. It's one I should probably know that. I'm sorry. My wife runs it, so I stay off of that stuff. Our schedules, all the stuff that's up to date with us is on there. If you ever email me, cpalermo, youngstowndiocese.org, I'll get you a schedule, get you whatever you guys want. If you go into cardinalmooney.com, you can see all of our schedules and whatnot. They're all posted there.
Amazing. I'm going to say this on a personal note, Coach. Thank you for always believing in me, man. That means a lot to me. Like, you were the reason why I became a much better defensive player. I got a lot more confidence. I learned what cerebral meant. And I'll never forget, last story I'll share with you guys, we were scrimmaging, one of our first scrimmages in my sophomore year. I think it was like us, Canfield, and whoever. And you know how loud Coach P is now, guys? Oh, this is nothing compared to how he was back then. Somebody was pressuring me up, and I just kept going past them. Their coach calls timeout. You said in the middle of the scrimmage, hey, Chris, if they want to keep pressuring you, let them go past you because none of them can guard you. Just keep killing. Keep killing.
Absolutely. Let them know.
That was one of the coolest things. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Palermo, owner Chris Gunther. So thank y'all so much for watching. Keep my thing song. Got to go. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.